Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Game of Thrones video for today, leading up to Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 5. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on a possible relationship between Daenerys and Jon Snow. Great, so I wanted to give my thoughts on this one because there are some kind of preview pictures. Nothing too crazy spoilery or anything like that. Don't worry, guys. But there's some preview pictures for Episode 5 that have Daenerys and Jon, and they're not standing too far away. So they're kind of close, and there's some, I want to say, subtle hints that we've seen so far this season, and maybe the two of them possibly being close. Like he'll touch her on the arm and that kind of stuff when he's guiding her into the cave and showing her all the stuff. The dragon glass and everything. So, and this is one, of course, that a lot of us have been, thinking of for a long time. Melisandre saying that she's brought together, Ice and Fire, a Song of Ice and Fire, with the TV series version, of course, Game of Thrones. But really cool, getting to see Daenerys and Jon meet each other finally. Of course, a lot of the fan theories over the years have been that they would get into a relationship, and we may be seeing the start of that. Of course, nothing confirmed, don't know for sure 100%, but thought let's do a video where we can give our thoughts on how we would feel about seeing the two of them together. Now, one of the questions that comes pretty quickly with this one is, are they in some kind of relation to each other? So, and apparently they are. I'll put the link in the description to the telegraph.co.uk, where they've got some pretty cool things. They've got kind of a family tree that you guys can check out. It's an infographic that you can kind of see where they're at. So what it is, and this is so weird, right? So in terms of relation, because Jon is half Targaryen, that would make Daenerys his aunt. It's just weird. So Daenerys' older brother is Jon's dad, which would make, his dad's sister. So that's weird, right? By half, of course, because he, and in terms of name, not a name, right? Because he, of course, is a Snow and Rhaegar and everything happened with that, with Robert and then him being basically taken by Eddard and raised as Eddard's bastard, or supposedly Eddard's bastard, but he isn't really, right? So that's the idea. So, of course, Targaryens, they do that's kind of a thing. They do kind of wed sometimes in the same family. Even, I suppose, an aunt or a nephew would not be too far away from, what they're into, that kind of thing. So it is definitely a bit weird, but at the same time, because it's kind of like what they do anyway, even sometimes you look like brother and sister, that kind of thing. It's not that bad. So we've seen worse in Game of Thrones, let's put it that way. If you look at Jaime and Cersei, we've seen much worse. Aside from us kind of figuring out in the last season that the fan theory R plus L equals J is correct and was actually true, it's just been a lot of seasons for both characters surviving in their own different locations, fighting their own battles, both being, really good guy characters, and there aren't too many in Game of Thrones. Personally, I really like this one. I would really like to see Daenerys and Jon Snow get together. I think, of course, all the girls would like it because Daenerys has a huge following as far as, the girls go. For a lot of them, a lot of female viewers, she's their favorite character. Not all, but, for a lot of them, Daenerys is kind of their, point of view character overall to look at. And for a lot of the guys, Jon Snow, I think is. I mean, he's a character that's super badass. He's been in some of the best battles in the whole series. And, I think it'd be good for the show. I think it'd be good for them to do that if they were to have the two of them get together. There are, of course, some other characters as well, though, too, that we could see. Probably not for Jon. I can't think of anybody that could be a romantic interest for Jon in the rest of the series aside from Daenerys. Off the top of my head. But with regards to Daenerys, you have Jorah, of course, so he's out there, and now that he's cured of the grayscale, possibly going out and finding her again. But by the time he does, will she already be romantically involved with Jon? We'll have to see. And would she even want to be romantically involved with him? Not sure what kind of relationship they'd have as far as that goes. He's always liked her. We know that, of course, but a lot of the guys around her do, right? You have Davos has already pointed out that it seems like Jon does, but Jon said, there's no time for that. He doesn't deny that he does, but he just says that, there's more pressing matters at hand right now that's not really really something that we should focus on or worry about right now. So we'll see what happens with Jorah. That should be a pretty good moment when he does find Daenerys again, and he does show himself to be healed. And thankfully it was Sam the one who did it, so that was kind of cool to see. And it should be good to see the scene when they're reunited again. But I think I would prefer to see Daenerys with Jon Snow over Jorah, because you know, at this point I'm just kind of like happy to see that Jorah's alive and that maybe he can serve her in whatever way he can. But I never felt like I really wanted to see the two of them get together in a relationship either. So you guys can write all your comments below. Let me know what you think about Daenerys and Jon, whether or not you want to see them in a relationship, whether or not you think that they will. Please, no spoilers, guys. If you're reading spoilers and all that for the next season or two, I've even heard people say that they know the spoilers for next season. And that surprises me. It's like, whoa, that's an early leak. So please keep it to yourselves if you're into reading that kind of stuff. This is more of a prediction or discussion type video, not really one where we don't want you to tell us the answer in a comment, as I've been saying recently in my videos. So yeah, there's that one. We'll do some of your guys' questions for today, and you guys can send through some more in this video if you want to leave a comment with a question for tomorrow. Maybe we can do one more before you know, the 5th episode. So McDolan says, anyone feel like the Jon and Dany relationship is being forced? So with this one, I mean, it kind of has to be if they're going to do it, I think. It's got to be a bit quick. It can't be one that they don't have a lot of time left. If you look at it, like, this is episode 5 coming up this weekend. There's only 2 more after that. This season's done. And I know they're extended, so it's more like 3 episodes, which I'm happy to get, you know, more the better. But, you know, the fact that this season's almost over and then you're into our very last season of the show, they don't have a lot of time for a lot of setup here and a lot of little posturing and things like that. And, you know, it's good. If it's going to happen in the series, it's probably got to happen pretty soon. I mean, they could, at most, they could set it up this season, have it come together next season, maybe for the end of the show. That would be, I think, a happy ending if, you know, if they want to do that. We'll see. Of course, if you think this has a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. So there's that. But I don't think it feels too forced so far. I think it kind of has to feel a little bit. But at the same time, we've been waiting for them to meet for so long. You know, for some people, maybe it's just not what they had expected. But you have to think of things with regards to where the characters are at naturally. They don't know each other. They're new to each other, and they don't know each other's backstory like we know their backstory. So there's going to be a feeling out process there. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's a little bit rushed. But at the same time, we don't have a lot of time left. ysonline says, rickon, no Dickon. So that was funny, right? And I wanted to mention that one because Bronn is really funny, and Bronn just laughs. But I wonder if Randall Tarley is such an asshole that he decided to name his son Dickon because he didn't like him or something. He's like, I don't like Dickon. That's funny. So that's good. I did like that one. Sheem Almighty says, I don't remember, but is Littlefinger on her list? No, I had to look this one up because I didn't really remember either. But no, Littlefinger is not. And yeah, most of the people on her list are actually dead. There's only a few left, really. You'd have to go through it. You can Google it if you want to see and go through it yourselves. But Littlefinger is not. She doesn't know, I don't think Arya knows the entirety of how responsible Littlefinger is for what happened with Eddard. And I think that, you know, him talking about chaos being a ladder, Bran, really is going to freak Littlefinger out, because Littlefinger has a lot of secrets, right? He has a lot of secrets that he doesn't want the Stark, Sansa, or anybody else to know. And if Bran figures that stuff out and he tells the others, like if he tells Sansa, hey, do you know what this dude did? You know, he was the one who, you know, was involved with Eddard being captured, you know, with a coup, a double turn there. So, man, crazy stuff, right? So we'll see how that all works out. That should be exciting. But yeah, Arya is awesome as well, too, and excited to see her. I hope she finishes her list by the end of the series. I think she will, because I think it's close. Melisandre may be a question. We'll see. The Art of Gaming says, plot armor, as you call it, really ruined the entire battle for me. The episode just kept getting better. This is for episode 4 he's talking now. And better. The dragon shows up. Shit's going down. It was AMAZE-BALLS. Then, not 1 but 2 escapes from a dragon from point blank distance by jumping 5 feet to the right. Effing lame. Oh, and where did this puddle come from? Bullshit. Escape number 2 happened in 50 some minutes, and one of the best episodes ever ruined by 5 minutes of trash. Game of Thrones is better than this. But bro, you gotta remember, we don't have a lot of characters left. If you're gonna kill Jaime off, he's an original, you know, episode 1 premiere character that's, you know, right at the forefront, the very beginning. So, cause it's not like he's in episode 1, but he's barely there. He's like right there. he's like a A-lister right at the start. So, I mean, if you're going to kill him off, it's got to be big. Dragonfire would be a way to do it, but we just don't have a lot left, and, they're probably saving it for the right time, and maybe right now is not the right time. It is plot armor, I would say, but then again, Bronn was always really tricky, so in terms of his skills, you'd have to put him at like almost a 10 in almost every category. In terms of his skills, like his speed, his how crafty he is. Some people are just really crafty, right? They do things you don't expect, and they're very agile. So he's got all of these qualities that I would say, even though it is a bit plot armory, I do have to agree. I do think also that Bronn is so crafty and so tricky that, maybe you can give him a pass on that one, because you just look at it as, well, yeah, but he's that good that he's able to figure out a way to get into the water, whatever. So I agree with you for the most part here. But you can kind of try to explain it away to yourself in that way. Jason Cross says, hey, Trev, what do you think about that look Sansa gives Arya after Arya fought with Brienne? I think it's a look of jealousy. Sansa was a victim this whole series, and to see her sister, a strong fighter, it kind of hits her on how useless she is. I don't think she's useless. I mean, she's been tasked right now as watching over the North for Jon when he's gone, so she's certainly not useless. She's one of the most powerful women in the whole series. But at the same time, Arya can fight for herself. Arya can defend herself, and she's probably just very surprised because it's her little sister, and she's not used to seeing her take on Brienne, who's like one of the best, fighters in the entire, in all of the kingdoms, right? All the 7 kingdoms. So she's one of the best in the entire, maybe one of the best they've ever had. As a female, she's probably the best ever, right? So for Arya to be coming in there and doing well against her, to where Brienne has to actually take her seriously and can't just steamroller, I think is something. And Arya just showing how good that she really is, that she can actually, maybe best her at parts or at least be even with her, is amazing, because she's not full grown yet either. Imagine where Arya will be at if she keeps this up in 10 or 20 years. There's not going to be anybody that would be able to mess with her when she's close to 25 or 30 or something. It's not going to happen. So, Joanne Albernathi says, I don't think the gold made it. Yes, it did. It did. You can watch it again, and you can see it. And then last one will be John Carpenter, who says, did Randall Tarley die? So I don't think we saw it. If they did kill him off, I didn't notice it. I didn't see it. So we'll have to see what happens with that and how that goes. But I would not be surprised if he was captured and had to be burned alive or something as a result because of the actions that he's done. I wouldn't be surprised if he was killed in this weekend's episode after being captured by Daenerys. I'm assuming he's going to be captured, and he may not turn, so he may be roasted. We're going to see. Fire cleanses all and that kind of good stuff. So that'll be it for today's video, guys. I hope you liked it. If you did, please don't forget, as usual, to leave a comment with a question for tomorrow, and also like the video. You can share and favorite, and if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. See you guys again tomorrow for another one. As always, it's Trev. I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.